Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today I thought I'd speak a bit about crime and sexual offences, because on my blog recently I published an article which was handed to me by Hampshire and Isle of Wight Constabulary about a girl in Gosport who got raped. Okay, now they got the guy in about 24-48 hours. Okay, he's arrested, been charged, been in front of a judge, and the judicial system will do what they've got to do. Whether he's guilty or innocent, that's not for me to say at the moment. That's down to the courts. That's being processed at the moment. But one of the things that I learned from putting this article, and there's still a lot of traction coming off this article at the moment, and you're more than welcome to go and read the article. It's on my blog, it's on Blogspot at the moment, Kevin's Upfront Opinion. Okay, and one of the things that I learned is, one, there's a lot of prejudice, there's a lot of fear, and there's a lot of guesswork. And when I say there's a lot of guesswork, because for those that don't really know much about the Gosport Peninsula, there's been talk and it's been alleged that it is going to happen, that the former detention centre is going to be reopened. And some people think, yeah, but if they're going to be in a detention centre, it's going to be a bit like in the hotels. They can be free to do what they like, when they like, how they like. And it's not going to be run like that. They're going to be stuck in there. It's basically like a prison at the end of the day. It's the place they go to before they get deported at the end of the day. And I thought I'd actually look at facts rather than the guesswork that a lot of people band around on social media and all the rubbish you get on social media nowadays. I thought, right, let's look at it. How many crimes are actually committed by non-British nationals? Okay, and that doesn't mean illegal immigrants. That could be people coming here on holiday on visas. That could be people coming here on business trips on visas. That could be international students. So there is a list. It could be, people here on temporary visas, whatever. They're not British nationals. Okay, so we're going to put the British nationals to the side and take them away. So I thought, right, how big is it? Now, the Telegraph did a Freedom of Information request to the Ministry of Justice. And some of the facts that they got were quite surprising. And in a way, they weren't really. And the main reason is that there's a journalist that did a video about this on YouTube recently, which is Alex Phillips, which was basically the cover-up of sexual assaults on women by non-British nationals. And what she discovered was there was a trend, not just in the UK, but right across Europe, whether you was looking at France, Germany, Italy, Spain, the same kind of thing was happening. But they were finding a lot of women were suffering sexual assaults by non-British. They were suffering sexual assaults from people that weren't nationals of that country. The worst one was actually Paris, when she actually mentioned the figures on Paris. And I can't personally remember what the actual figures were, but it was ridiculous. So the reality is, out of the UK population, foreign nationals currently only account for 9.3% of the population. That's all they account for, 9.3. So it's a very small number. It's not a very big number. You're talking about less than 10%, 1 in 10. Okay, but this is the frightening figure. When you go and look at sexual assaults, okay, now you've got to take it into, they have it in two figures. Okay, so it's the ones where they know where they come from and the ones that they don't know where they come from. So if you take the ones where they have absolutely no idea and you put that into the non-British nationals, because they're not going to be British at the end of the day, okay, the figure comes out at nearly 25%. It's at 23% of rapes in the UK. That's not necessarily on women, it could be men as well, are committed by non-British nationals. Can you believe that? 1 in 4, but only 1 in 10 of the population is a non-British national. Now, this is the bit where people are going to say, "Oh yeah, but you're a racist." Well, I'm not a racist, to be honest. Okay, I look at facts and figures. That's what I take into account. Now, the worst part of the actual figure is to look at where the people are coming from that are the biggest problem. Now, the irony is that the two nationalities that do actually come top are Afghanistan, and I hate to say this, and I am going to be accused of being a racist. Afghanistan have the most amount of people that have come into the UK in the last 12 months, okay, as illegal immigrants. That is factually correct. That figure comes from the Office for National Statistics, and you can get that. Comes out number 1, Afghanistan. And the second country, which is also, I think it's in the top 5, definitely in the top 10, which is, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Eritrea. Okay. And the irony is, it works out, but people from those 2 particular countries are 20 times more likely to commit a sexual offence than a British citizen. Wherever the British citizen comes from, it could be anywhere in the world. But if they're a British citizen, they are 20 times more likely to commit a sexual offence on somebody in this country than if they come from than an Afghan or somebody from Eritrea, which I find is absolutely ridiculous. Okay. And to take that figure even worse, the highest number of sex offence convictions were also accounted by, get this, Romanians, 987, Poles at 208, Indians at 148, and Pakistanis at 144. Now, what I'm going to say is, what does that say about the problems that we have in this country, primarily with integration? And also, what does that say about the problems we have about the people that are coming in? Is it a case that we've got too many people coming in? They're not the right type of people that we realistically need to be coming into this country. Because remember, we're supposed to have a point system in this country. You know, that's what the Conservatives put in place, where we're having people coming into this country for people that we actually require, rather than, like, for instance, the EU system, freedom of movement. Any Tom, Dick or Harry can pretty much come into this country. So those are the actual facts, not made up facts. That's factually correct. Okay, as things stand at the moment. So the reality is, should people fear immigrants? No, they shouldn't. Yes, there's a lot of bad people out there, but you could also say that about British nationals. you know, I don't personally like going out at night like nowadays. Now, I live in a fairly safe place. I avoid going out at night like the plague. That's not because I fear that I'm going to be attacked or something. I've got as much chance of being attacked by a British national that I have of a non-British national. But I also understand where the fear is now, because when you go and look at that figure and see that 25% of all sexual offences are committed by non-British nationals, well, to be exact, 23%, it's pretty much 1 in 4. Okay, I think that's something the government need to take a closer look at, because that is categorically wrong that that's happening in today's society, into today's UK. You know, what needs to be done to basically resolve this situation. So let us know what you think in the comments down below. Obviously, if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. Would appreciate it. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you again a bit later.